2020 Jeep Compass, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. 4 doors, 2-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, auction vehicle, Mannheim auto auction, and the non-running vehicles, 138,000 miles. Let's see where we start. This car came in a towing truck. It will not start. It had in the window written no engine compression. It was in this glass window. If you pull it up, you'll see no engine compression. They must have tested the compression and they found out no compression. Also, the inside, this water, I cleaned it as much as I could, but still there. It has milky color, kind of like engine oil, and you can still see it. See? It's like full of oil in the coolant, kind of like milky color. And the car cranks, no start. So, and sounds like it doesn't have any compression. So what I did, I hit the throttle wide open and I crank it about 10-15 seconds. I'll try to simulate this in a minute. When you hit the wide open throttle, it seems like a clear flood, and eventually will start. I was wondering why it has no compression. The way it sounds like no compression, the engine is spinning fast, like you know how you lose timing belt or timing chain, it sounds like that. But it seems like Chrysler, they have valves on the intake side, control the opening or closing or actuating them in the right time, which makes sense when you crank with no compression, cranks easily. They must have stop start in this vehicle to use the older style starter without any bigger motor, because constantly they're stopping and starting the vehicle. So if I was an engineer, I would do the same thing. I'd use the old starter, old-fashioned starter, and I would have the compression control by the valve opening with a solenoid. So this is what seems like they did right there. So that ruled out the compression issues. And so there's nothing wrong with the compression. And it seems like they changed the transmission on this vehicle, or about to change the transmission in the vehicle. There's no evidence in here the transmission being changed, but I see the transmission in the back seat. I moved it, I put it on the table. I had to open it up. It was in the back seat of this vehicle. So I was wondering if they changed the transmission or they were about to change the transmission. I have an extra transmission in the car, so I need to know if the transmission in the car is bad or the one on the car is bad. So when the car started, you put it in drive, reverse, the car doesn't move, nobody home. But when you slam it back and park, it does clicks like the parking pole is like hitting, about to park, and then eventually when it slows down enough and it will park. But the wheel is not moving. I look underneath the vehicle, I lifted it up, I look underneath, it seems like they didn't shove the axle inside the transmission in the driver's side, they didn't shove it all the way. So I pried it in, and now it will start moving back and forth, back to the normal transmission. I didn't even drive it more than like inside the garage and out. And until now, actually, the axle doesn't go all the way in. If anyone have idea or comment, let me know why this axle doesn't want to go all the way in. It's just like gap between the transmission and the axle, like this much. And the boots broken in that axle. What else? I don't know if this kind of vehicle will have a retainer or to retain the axle inside the transmission. I'm not sure. If someone knows, please let me know. So that out of the way. But now I still don't know if the transmission, they haven't changed it or they changed it. But what I'm thinking that they changed the transmission because I see some bolts, like if you look down in here, they're not all the way in. And after they change it in the fast, they change it fast, and they start cranking in the car, taking forever to crank, and it seems like it has no compression, and they throw it in the auction, and they throw it in the transmission in the back. But when I got it, it's like multi issues in this vehicle. I want to do one at a time. So the engine ruled out is okay because it's starting, and that's what Chrysler, they have those valves. But I still see here liquid oil in the coolant. And I don't think it's from the engine, because the engine oil is good, the cab is good. If you open the cab, there's no milky color or anything, and the oil dirty inside. It's not very clean, but there's no coolant in there. And the car runs fine, idle fine. The coolant fan kicks on and off. Everything is fine on the engine side. So I'm suspecting the coolant mixed with the transmission oil. How do I know that? This is the only thing left. Plus, when I open the transmission, I can see all the milky color in it. And I determined that the old transmission, the one they replace it with that used transmission over there. And I start thinking maybe the coolant through the cooler for the transmission cooler runs coolant in it to cool it off. Somehow the fluid got mixed in there. I never seen this problem before. And somehow this transmission starts slipping because there's a lot of coolant in it, and they had to replace it. But they didn't know why. This has been sitting for a while, it seems like, before they put it in auction. There's rust. But I look at the clutches inside, and all this is still good, except the seals from the coolant got swollen up and spits out all the seals in the bottom of the transmission. Anyway, so this transmission is out. So the new transmission is right there. I checked the fluid, and it's brand new fluid, so I knew they changed it. Then what I did, I scanned it, and it says the transmission TCM is not aligned, or is not matching the vehicle, or is not matching with the ECM or PCM. So what I did, I removed the transmission control module from that transmission. I put it in this transmission. Now I don't have that code, but I still have crank sensor code. So one thing after another. Since my shop right here, right next to AutoZone, right there, I grab crank sensor from there, and it's right here. I installed it there, and I did the relearn programming on it, whatever they call it, and still the same problem. It failed the relearn, and the crank sensor comes back on the minute you start the vehicle. So I checked the wires. Always that crank sensor wire will have, most of the time will have signal voltage, like a 5 volt, and then the signal wire, which is the middle, and the ground. I checked the ground is good. I checked the voltage with the key on, there's 5 volt. I checked the middle wire, it should have some voltage with the key on, 0 volt. I turned the key off. I checked continuity between the middle to ground. It was grounded. I say, this is very interesting. I hope the ECU or PCM is not bad. So what I did, I just connect the wire bundle that involved with that crank sensor. I checked the 5 volt. 5 volt is gone because it's disconnected. And I checked the middle wire. It's still grounded. What I was thinking to do, that wire is green. Actually, it's a brown with a green line on it, brown green, and the brown green is right here. I'm assuming this one, unless we have another brown green there. I gotta look at the wiring diagram, make sure it's it. And then I'm thinking just to cut it and run another wire, and this call it fix is the fastest way you can do, rather than chasing the wire. But I start looking at the wires and I start seeing something that doesn't look right in here. If you look, this bolt is out, not all the way in, transmission bolt, as you can see down here. And then I follow the wire, it goes in a clip in here and then goes down. And if you see in here, I don't know if you can focus, let me see. Okay, if you see the bolt, you can see the crank sensor wire running behind the bracket and running back down, and seems, I'm suspecting, if you see the bolt's not all the way in, I'm suspecting that bolt got tied on that sensor wire and pinch the ground wire to the ground. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna loosen this bolt up and see if this will remove the grounding, the sensor wire out, and repair the wire if it's pinched badly or tape it or something. I'll be back. I gotta turn on this camera off. I am back. I decided to show you guys how the cranking it happened before I losing that bolt down there, that bolt right there. We know is pinched and grounded the signal wire. I put back the crank sensor and I'm gonna go ahead and crank it right now so you can get the idea. So you can get the idea how what it feels like. I put the okay, I'm back. The key is right here. Crank it. You see that? Takes about 5 to 10 seconds to start. Let's do it again. Okay, so that's what it's doing, and the code and the scanner, crank shaft position sensor circuit. And if you press the gas, see, wide open throttle, no one home, just like the RPM moves from 1000 to 1500 max, all the way down. It's like no throttle. So let's remove that bolt, or move the wire underneath the bolt, and let's go from there. Okay, back off that bolt, the tension bolt. Looks like pinching it. Let's see. And then put the bolt to the bracket in here as well. Man, there's a butcher's. Okay, should be enough. Let's see. Maybe another one can come off. Let's see what it looks like. I don't see. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I see the pinch. I don't see significant visible pinch. Well, let's get the voltmeter and test it. I know how people make YouTube videos. I give them all the credit in the world. With all these videos, perfectly made videos. Let me see what I'm gonna. Videos and work at the same time. That's crazy, insane. I usually don't make videos, but I thought this insanely new or something I don't have the bolt, and there should be an easy pull. Okay, here we go. Here it is. This is the crank sensor. Okay, crank sensor. Put the voltage. Where's my paper clip? It's right here. So we're gonna check for ground. If this signal, wire still grounded, I put it in there. This is my voltmeter. Okay, to ground. Okay, it's not grounded anymore. Yeah, it's good. Let's check the ground. If it's still grounded. Okay, the ground's not grounded probably because via the ECU. Let me plug the ECU. We'll go from there. Okay, ECU plugged. No, it's not grounded. Maybe. Okay, now it's grounded. Now it's grounded. Okay. Let me check the signal ground again with the ECU plugged. Okay, good. Not grounded. So here you go. Moment of truth. Let's plug it here first. And then shove it in there without the bolt. Let's see what we see any difference in the cranking. Where's the hole? Okay. Even with the light, I cannot see the hole. I'm just going by feeling. Okay, I see it a little bit. Okay, and wire out of the way. Okay, I will type that later. Okay. ECU unplugged. Let's do some cranking and see if any difference. Okay, we have everything out of the way here. We have a wrench here. All right. Okay. Bismillah. No crank. Let me see PCM power control module is plugged in all the way. Okay. Let's see. Okay, still the same problem. Let's power up the scanner and see if we need to do relearn thing. I'll be back. Before I fire up the scanner, I had to put the bolt for the crank sensor just snug, just to make sure that if you need the ground, which is I don't think so, it has its own ground, but yeah, just to make it snug. So now I'm scanning the vehicle and I want to see if I can erase the code and do the relearning. This hotel scanner, I think it's key programming diagnostic tool. It's for keys and whatnot, but I will do the diagnostic. Security gate unlocked successfully. So obviously you need to unlock the security gate. This some kind of, I think $50 a year. Okay, control module, powertrain. Trouble code. Crankshaft. Position sensor circuit. Erase. It's off. Key on, engine off. Read. Let's see if it comes back. Still have that long crank. Yeah, maybe now we need to do the relearn. Seems like it's starting a little faster now. Read code. Damn it, it's back. Turn it back off. No, still taking long to start. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Key on, engine off. I'm gonna erase the code. Yes. I guess one thing after another. Especially when you work in a vehicle that too many people had fornicated with it, as I call it. What are we doing here? Let's go to the transmission. Let's see what the transmission. Trouble code. Okay, when we have a last communication with it, which is, yeah, I disconnected that. Let's erase it. Read. Let's start it now. It's a long crank. Let's read the transmission. Inaccurate engine torque receive. I have no idea what this one. We'll deal with that one later. If anyone know anything about this one, post it, please. Let's go to the engine. Engine again. I'm gonna turn off. Key on, engine off. Trouble code. I just want to erase the code before I do the. Well, read the code. I want to erase it. Erase the code before I do the relearn. Crankshaft relearn. Okay, where's the crankshaft system check? Live active test special function. Maybe under special function. Learn. Cam crank relearn. Let's do that. Okay. Please start the engine. Okay, start. Has to be above 68 degrees, above 70 degrees Celsius. Now 69. It will start right now. Within 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Okay, I'll be back, guys. I think it's gonna take a while, this thing, so I'm gonna turn.
For all the guys that are playing for him right now, currently.
I'll turn it off. Okay, now starting. It's gonna take a bit. I'll put it aside. I'll go take a break. I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. So I stripped the wires. Actually, I stripped the insulation of the wires. The insulation of the wires seems like very conductive, like, I don't know, it's aluminum paper or some kind of, as you can see, anyway, this light, you can see this conductive material. So this right here, you You can see the wire were squished together under that bolt right there. So what I did, I put the crank sensor back in there. Crank, the same thing. Erase the code, relearn, the same thing. So what I did, I got the old Mopar crank sensor and I put it back in there and started right up. No long cranking whatsoever. It's like brand new. Let's take a look how it starts right now. I have the radiator hose disconnected. Everything's gonna drain the coolant, so we cannot run it for long. And also I added gas, nothing to do with that, but it was empty. So here we go. Well, the battery got low right now. You can see right now, revving high and everything looks normal. Okay, I think this should be it. Tomorrow we'll add coolant in there and test drive the transmission and see if transmission is okay. Since they changed it and they never get a chance to test drive it, so we'll check it out tomorrow. Before I go, let's erase the light, because earlier was not erasing at all. Crank position sensor circuit. Let's erase it. It should be erased now. I don't think we have to do the relearn for the crankshaft position sensor because it's the original one, nothing wrong with it, so I guess I'm gonna have to return it to AutoZone. Is there anyone guys know why the AutoZone sensor didn't work? I tried to relearn it, doesn't want to relearn because it says active code, the crank position sensor circuit. I have to repair the sensors, I mean the wires in the front. What I'm gonna do, because I'm very nosy and very like naggy, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna repair the wires perfectly and then put the AutoZone sensor in there and go from there. I want to see if we'll get to relearn, just curiosity before I return it. Let's look at the transmission. It says improper torque. Let's see if we can still get that improper torque thing. There I go, transmission, trouble code. Okay, it's gone, the improper torque. Actually, I didn't erase it, it's gone, but it's gotta be the improper torque or unmatched torque, gotta be from the crank sensors, not getting feedback from the ECU, from the ECM. Did I erase the code for the ECM? Okay, let's go. Yeah, erase. Let's crank it. Start right away, guys. Nice. Throttle pedal responsive. Turn it off because I don't have coolant in it. Okay, so what we're gonna do in here? Yeah, that's it. We'll get back tomorrow to it to test drive the transmission.